Welcome back. We are getting you the latest in the investigation into the Shraddha Walkar murder case. In a big breakthrough that has been reported, the DNA has now matched with the bones that have been recovered in Shraddha's case. So it has been matched with the DNA of the father. This is a big development because this proves that Shraddha Walkar was indeed murdered. Not just that, it also proves that her body had been chopped up into different pieces and disposed in the Mehrauli forest. Remember, Shraddha's bones had been found in the forest. Aaftab Poonawala had led the police officials to the forest. As of now, he had of course confessed that he had killed Shraddha Walkar. He claimed that he had killed her in a fit of rage, but that was a confession that he had made to the police officials. Senior News Editor Bhavtosh Singh is live with us with the details of that story, and the reason why this is extremely crucial, Bhavtosh, is because it proves that Shraddha Walkar was murdered, chopped into pieces and then disposed in the forest. Where is the investigation headed next?
Well, not only it proves that she has been murdered, but brutally murdered, and then her body was severed into several pieces and in a very calculated and planned manner. Aaftab Poonawala, her live-in partner, then destroyed all evidence, possible evidence, washed off bones and fragmented body parts over a period of time, and then continued living in the same rented accommodation. The police on the hand have said that they will file the charge sheet as soon as possible. They have forensic evidence, they have circumstantial evidence. They also have managed to have a mobile phone call detail records, which they have in fact retrieved over a period of time. What the police have said is that in a very cold-blooded manner, he continued staying at the same accommodation, and he in fact invited friends at that place, continued crisscrossing, traveling between Delhi and Mumbai, met his parents, and also maintained a relationship with other friends, and they have said that he had a job. They have said that he never tried fleeing from this house in Delhi. The Special Commissioner of Law and Order will be holding a press briefing explaining how crucial this piece of evidence or this report would be for them. The police also knows that any statement that he has made before the police does not hold any judicial evidence.
Okay, so this is going to be very important. Bhavtosh, requesting you to stay on with us. Rajat Shukla, a friend of Shraddha's, on the phone line with us, joining us in the broadcast. Rajat, thank you for joining us. This is a very big development. Of course, there were several reports of how Shraddha had been chopped into pieces. Now the DNA has matched with the father, which now confirms the brutality of the murder.
Let me tell you this. Till the last minute, I was hoping that, Shraddha comes back. But now with this development, definitely it's a very big development with regards to the case and, to seek justice for Shraddha. But we now finally get to know that Shraddha is no more there with us, with the confirmation of the bones that are found are of Shraddha herself.
That's right. As unfortunate as that is, it's going to be very important for the investigations as well, because it does prove the involvement of Aaftab Poonawala to a certain extent. If you can tell us about, after the investigations, as they have begun, what they've picked up, the police officials as well, talking about the kind of brutality with which Aaftab Poonawala had killed Shraddha Walkar.
This is absolutely unfortunate. Police has been doing their job. Initially, the police here in Vasai and Tolanj police station did a lot of blunders. Into 2020 when things were brought in place, I think they should have taken the investigation properly. But I think the investigating officer is still not. The name is not there. The person has to be definitely seen in this case. And now that we come to know, since the investigation is happening since the month of October. Things are coming ahead in front of us. Now what I feel is when Aaftab has been very vocal. He has been loud and clear of how he has committed the murder. I think now the evidences are quite enough to prove that it is very clear that it's Aaftab, not just on what he says, but also through the real evidences. I think now I have to say that justice delayed is justice denied. On a fast track court basis, I think Aaftab deserves a capital punishment. That would be least justice that we'll be able to offer for Shraddha.
Okay, all right. Lastly, I want to ask you, and I'm really sorry that I'm having to ask you this as well, but I'm sure you also find, yourself asking this question time and again. Now that the DNA test has confirmed that this was a kind of brutal murder that Shraddha Walkar had to face, does it come as a complete shock? Because you mentioned that you were not just close to Shraddha Walkar, but you were also aware of her relationship with Aaftab Poonawala. Okay, all right. In fact, my colleague Arunil Saradekar is also joining us live. We seem to have lost a line with Rajat there. Arunil, this is a big breakthrough in the Shraddha murder case, the DNA matching with that of her father.
Well, that is right, and a very significant development, Pratibha. The reason for that is that this confirms that the mortal remains that were recovered, in fact, the body parts that were horrifically recovered from the Mehrauli forest of Delhi, they are indeed of Shraddha Walkar. This basically gives confirmation to the entire investigation that the Delhi police has been doing in coordination with the Vasai police, and now it can basically help the Delhi police to develop a foolproof investigation and a case against Aaftab Poonawala as well. So the Aaftab Poonawala may have agreed in front of the Delhi police, basically saying that he had killed Shraddha Walkar, and he had given out his modus operandi as well, basically given out details about how the murder was initiated by him. But now, considering the fact that the DNA of Shraddha Walkar has been matched with her father, that is Vikas Walkar, this basically comes out, this confirms the fact that the mortal remains indeed were of Shraddha Walkar, and it can help Delhi police develop and initiate a foolproof case with evidences against Aaftab Poonawala. Vikas Walkar also, basically, when he had taken out a press conference, had raised questions on the local Vasai police station, basically saying that when Shraddha Walkar had written to them in as many words, basically saying that Aaftab Poonawala threatened to kill her, threatened to cut her threatened to kill her and then cut her body parts into several pieces. Despite that, no action was taken by the Vasai police station, and now with respect to that angle as well, an inquiry has been ordered against the local Vasai police officials, that is from Manikpur and from Nalasopara, that is Tulinj police station. But here, this development coming in from Delhi is very significant because it confirms that the mortal remains, basically the body parts, were of Shraddha Walkar.
Okay, all right. In fact, Arunil, looking at we just spoke to a friend of Shraddha Walkar as well, who spoke about the fact that until now there was hope, now confirmed that Shraddha Walkar has been murdered. But just taking a look at the investigation up until now, initially the Aaftab Poonawala had led the police officials to the body parts of Shraddha Walkar. He had also made that confession, and of course he was also made to give the polygraph test, after which now the DNA finally confirming it.
Well, in fact, this is like one after the other, foolproof and a cogent evidences that can be developed against Aaftab Poonawala, and that is what Delhi police is doing it over here. Now confirming that those mortal remains or those body parts were indeed of Shraddha Walkar, that basically reaffirms the fact that Shraddha Walkar indeed was murdered, but in the way in which she was murdered, in which her body was cut into pieces, her the body parts were kept in a refrigerator by Aaftab Poonawala, and the way investigation is being carried out by the Delhi police in coordination with the local Vasai police, it basically helps them to form a cogent and a foolproof case with concrete evidences against Aaftab Poonawala, and the family members, the lawyers of lawyers representing the Walkar family, they basically have said that they want capital punishment against Aaftab Poonawala, because what he has done, the family also feels that the family of Aaftab Poonawala was also involved in this, because when the couple was staying in Vasai, they stayed as married couple, and the family members of Aaftab Poonawala were aware of this.
Okay, so request you to stay on with us, Arunil. My apologies. I want to introduce former DGP of Maharashtra, Praveen Dixit, also joining us on the broadcast. Many thanks for joining us, Mr. Praveen. If you can explain to us the reason why this is a very big development. Yes, there was a confession from Aaftab Poonawala, and the police officials knew that Shraddha Walkar had been chopped up into several pieces. Now, the fact that the DNA has matched with that of the father.
No, this is the most critical of the evidences because this is an expert opinion which beyond doubt proves that whatever body parts have been found, they belong to Shraddha, that is the deceased person. There is no other evidence to suggest that. But now this fixes it, and the accused will not be able to go scot-free. So that's why this is a very important evidence. The rest of the things, like the places where he visited, where he stayed and all that, that is the another circumstantial evidence which might have been collected by the investigating officers through his narco test. But that was only indicative. As far as this DNA test is concerned, that is the scientific proof of the person who is deceased and the accused. So that fixes the responsibility.
Mr. Praveen, would you say that this is that one clincher that the police officials have been waiting for? Because, of course, Aaftab Poonawala has confessed to killing Shraddha Walkar. There were evidences, some of the confessional statements that the police officials had as well. But will this be that one clincher that is going to reach them to the conclusion in the investigations?
Absolutely. This is the most clinching evidence because the rest of the things, like as you mentioned about the admission by the accused, that is of very limited value, and the judiciary may or may not attach much importance to it. But any expert opinion, like this forensic science laboratory test by the DNA experts, that is the most clinching evidence as far as the matter, as far as the case is concerned.
Okay. So how do you see these the investigations proceed from here, Mr. Praveen Dixit?
Now we see the police, as you know, the narco test has been conducted. So that has thrown up several indications. The other persons whom he might have cheated, or the places where he has been, or various things which have been happening right from last 3 to 3.5 years. So police will pick up all those and fix up the developments one by one to show the mindset and show the the thought process of this person, how he was harassing, not only harassing but openly mentioning that I will cut you into 35 pieces, etc. So that will be the job to be done by the police before presenting the matter before the court now.
Very lastly, I just want to ask you, how are the police officials going to establish Aaftab Poonawala's role now? Is his confessional statement going to be enough now that the DNA has matched? Or how will it proceed next on the police officials establishing that it was Aaftab Poonawala who carried out the murder?
Yes, see, now, as I said, the circumstances would indicate that he and his deceased were staying in Mumbai. From there, he has proceeded. He has reached Delhi. At that time, both persons were there, and it also establishes the pieces which he has thrown were belonging to the deceased. So that all shows the mens rea of this person, that with his sole intention of killing her, he has brought her to Delhi from Mumbai, and finally he has executed his gruesome plan and murdered her. So that shows the developments from one to another and leading to the final stage. And not only stopping at the murder, he has also destroyed the evidence with this whatever he has done by cutting the pieces into 35 or whatever numbers and throwing them at various places, including throwing away the knife or whatever he has used. So all that will be now indicating his mens rea. Now, once the mens rea is established, that shows that this is a gruesome, cold-blooded murder with full plan executed by his accused.
Okay, all right. Mr. Praveen Dixit, thank you for joining us.